Hi crafters, welcome back and thanks for joining me today. This is Jana with Purple Girl Crafts. Today's Haley card is a card that I made just trying out some new designs. I'm going to call it a slide and reveal card, or an inside slide and reveal. So when you open the card, your image will slide over and you can reveal a hidden message. This card requires no die cuts. You do have to make sure when you embellish, you're not embellishing on the part that's going to slide. And this card will lay flat for shipping. It measures out to be about 5 by 5.5, and it'll fit in your standard envelope. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to pull out our scoreboard, and then our first piece is going to be the base of the card, and this is going to be measured at 11 inches by 5 inches. And then from there you're going to want to fold this in half, or you can score it in half and then fold it. And then just grab my bone folder and I'm going to just crease this out. And I'm going to let this card sit here so I can show you some of the pieces that are going to need for the layers. You could do mats and layers. I'm just doing the layers so the card doesn't get too heavy. The first piece is 5 1/4 by 4 3/4, and this is going to sit on the front top of the card. So just like this. Now for the inside of the card, we're going to need one piece. We can get these sorted. That is cut at 3 1/2 by 4 3/4, and this will sit on the left side of the card. Then we are going to need one piece that is cut at 4 by 4 3/4, and that will sit on the right side of the card on the fold, and then one piece at 1 3/4 by 4 3/4, and this will sit at the far right. Then we're going to need one piece that is cut at 5 1/2 by 1, and that will be for the mechanism. And then we're going to need one piece that is cut at 3 by 1, and on this piece we are going to fold it. Let me move these out of the way. So we're going to score this so we can fold it at 7/8 of an inch and 2. And the reason we did that is so it's a little bit wider than an inch, so it doesn't get stuck, so it'll slide freely. So I'm just putting a pencil mark at 7/8 and 2 inches just to make it easier for you to see. And then we're going to want to fold these down and then crease those out. So as you can see, it's just a little bit wider than an inch. For the slider piece, I've already stamped mine. So you want your stamps to start at least 2 inches from the side that you're going to score on. So I'm going to turn this, and then we are going to score this at 1/2 inch. And then we'll just fold that down. So there is one additional piece that I forgot to give you the dimensions on, and this piece is going to be cut at 4 1/2 by 4 3/4. On the 4 1/2 inch side, we are going to score this at 1 inch and 3 1/2. And then you'll want to fold these both down on the mountain and crease those out. And then we'll need one piece that is 2 1/4 by 2 1/2, and this is just going to be on top of that last piece I just showed you. So we don't need a scoreboard anymore. So I've laid out all of my pieces, and we're going to start gluing down the layers on the inside of the card. And right now I'm just kind of laying these out just to make sure they're lined up. So for the piece on the left of the hand side of the card, this is the piece that is 4 by 4 3/4. So we're going to start by gluing that down. And now when we lay this down, we want to make sure we have that nice border all the way around. And it will be further from the center of the card because that's the mechanism is going to be sitting right there, so it will look perfect. Now for the piece on the right, this piece is measured at 3.5 by 4 3/4. And this one you want to get it so that, again, it's the border at the center of the card. You just want to make sure that is, again, lined up where you have your borders on all three sides. And you will have that pink gap in the middle. Again, that's where the mechanism is going to go. So I'm just going to push this all down. Now for the mechanism. This piece is going to get glued, again, right to the edge of the card, the center fold. My lines do not match, and I did not think about that. So if you're going to want to match your pattern all the way through, make sure you're cutting your pieces in order of how you're going to lay them down. So just glue one of the flaps. I'm going to set it down. And again, I'm going to make sure that it doesn't go over the edge of the middle of the card. I'm going to erase my little score so I can remember which one I was going to score. And then just crease that out. Now for the slider, this is going to lay in the middle of the card. And it's going to lay right at the center of the card on the right hand side. So the card is 5 inches wide from pink to pink. So 2.5 is going to be your center point. And then you're going to want to glue this down, flap down on the center of the card. So I'm going to use that pink line as my guide. And I'm just going to push that on there. I'm going to lift up the card. And now you have to be really careful because when we finish this card, you're going to see that I did not get this perfectly straight. So now we're going to take the little mechanism that's going to hold this in place. We're going to glue that together. And now I'm going to put this through so I just can show you how it works. So this will be the piece that will help the card slide. So this will be secured to this flap, and then it'll help the card. The slider piece will just be able to move up and down. So we don't need that on there for right now because the slider will fit back in there. I'm going to take that off and I'm just going to glue it to the card. So I'm going to glue it where the sides don't match. You want to make sure your openings are going the right way. And I'm just lining this up to make sure that the slider is going to fit in there. And then I'm just going to push that glue down. And then you can feed your slider piece back through that hole. And then just go ahead and fold it down, and then it will work perfectly. Now you also want to make sure that it does not hang over the edge. If it does, slide it down just a little bit so it's not hanging over, so you don't see it. And there you go. So now for this next piece, we're going to glue it on here, but before we glue this down, we're actually going to glue this slider down. So I'm just going to lift this up, Just going to put just a tiny bit of glue in there because you don't need a lot because it will stay down because we're going to glue this top layer on top of this. Yeah, this piece will get glued right here. Okay, so that is the inside of the card. So when you open it up, you'll have your little reveal. So now to continue with the inside of the card, that last piece we cut, this is going to just be on top of here. I just did some pink just to break up the stripes a little bit. But again, you could do any kind of different combinations with this card. This card could be for any occasion. So we're going to glue this down. And then I've got this cute little turtle that I drew and colored. And I'm just going to put him in the center of the card. We're going to put him, you can put him in the center or he could be down further. Kind of like it there, it could be there. Center is just more weighted, so I'll probably put him right about there. You could add dimensions, but again, if you add dimensions, it's going to make your card thicker, which will require extra postage. So we'll stick him right about there. We can just press him down, make sure he is secure. He's just so cute. He's carrying flowers. And then for the front of the card, we're going to glue that top piece on. And then for this next part, I'm going to speed through this because I'm just going to go ahead and decorate the front of the card. I've taken some letters that I pre-cut that spell out Haley, and I'm going to glue these all down on the front. Again, you could just embellish this any way you want it. I sometimes like simpler is better. It's cleaner looking. So we have Haley on the front. You know, it's kind of hard to see with the white letters, but it looks really good in normal lighting. And then I took some just embellishments. These are octagon shaped, and I'm just going to put them all around the card. As I finish adding the embellishments to the front of the card and the inside of the card, I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope you had fun crafting along with me. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. I'm going to be creating another version of this card, just a little bit different, and I'll be posting that later this week. So until then, happy crafting and hope to see you real soon. Bye-bye.